Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas here with you this morning. We've got our friends from Tikva, Hands of Hope, talking with Leslie Doan, who is the newly appointed executive director, and Michelle Humble, who is kind of responsible for this whole thing, who, if I remember, you had gone on some kind of a missions trip or a trip, and you saw something like Tikva, came home, talked to your mom, and lo and behold, suddenly we've got our own.
That's how it happened, yep.
Just real quickly, give us a little bit of the background, where Tikva came from.
Yeah, that was probably about 8 or 9 years ago. I invited my mother on spring break. Most college students go crazy. I go with my mother places. Don't know what that says about me. But we went to Chicago, Illinois, and we got to observe By the Hand Club for Kids. And they do pretty much exactly what we do on a huge grand scale. I mean, it's Chicago. And when we saw what they were doing with the students and just the amount of time and love and energy that was poured in, and then the change that happened as a result in those students' lives, we said, our town needs this. We need something like it, if anything. So it began slow but sure in the Southeast Community Center, and we started with a small group of students that were all from Allen Elementary, right there next to the community center. And as we grew and realized more and more kids were enjoying to come and getting to do snack time, and we started providing dinner because we realized, well, snack's great, but they're still hungry. If you have children, you know how that goes. And we started helping with homework, and then I started teaching dance and offering some other things that were enrichment oriented, and then it snowballed from there. And so we now find ourselves in downtown Canton serving, I think, over 13 of the Canton City schools, and we are just incredibly blessed with, I think, around 55 students this year. And it's pretty incredible to see it go from point A to point B.
What ages now, Michelle?
We serve from first grade all the way up through 8th grade at this point.
Nice.
Yes.
And I know that you're introducing them to all kinds of opportunities for education and to start thinking about potentially going to college and doing so many more things that you probably didn't really dream of in the very beginning.
It's hard to imagine what you could possibly do, but that's just how cool God is he takes something and makes it into something incredible. And oftentimes he takes nothing and makes it into something incredible. And so, yes, we have offered a lot of opportunities for our students. The most recent this week, and Leslie got to go, was our students were invited to cheer with the Malone cheerleaders at their game this weekend. And it was, from what I understand, a once-in-a-lifetime type experience.
How much
Our boys
fun.
got to see the basketball players, and at a collegiate level, since many of them have NBA dreams. So it was a really great experience for our students.
Oh, how neat. Leslie Doan, you are rather new to Tikva.
Yes,
How
I
long
am.
have you been part of?
Well, I officially started the beginning of February,
Oh,
so I'm very new. Yeah.
So what interested you in the executive director position?
Well, my husband and I moved here with our family 3 years ago, and I was a stay-at-home mom, and my background is education. So I was just kind of waiting and praying for what God wanted me to do next here. And I happened to attend River Tree, where Sarah goes. And I also know the board president, and she kind of mentioned it. And I met with Sarah, and I just fell in love with everything that she had started and thought it would be something I didn't want to end, and that I could hopefully do good with Tikva and continue the program.
And the Sarah that Leslie refers to is Sarah Kropf, who is Michelle's mom and co-founder
Our founder,
of Tikva. And ready to be a grandma and turn the reins over to you, pass the torch.
Right.
So being here not even a month, what's been the most surprising for you?
I think it's just been how impactful that Tikva really is on these parents, the community, and these kids, and just seeing them, how needed this program is, and just seeing these kids thriving in this after-school
Do you ever
program.
get stuck on homework yet when you're helping them with their homework?
I do with my own kids. So
I did, yeah. I did 4th and 5th grade last year, and fractions and I still don't get along.
Oh, man.
that's when we pull the older kids in to help us,
That's
kind of a
perfect, yeah.
peer.
Recruit the 8th graders to help
Exactly.
with it. That's smart. You've got a great event coming up, the Evening of Hope. Tell us all about it.
Well, this year it is going to be at the Cultural Center for the Arts on Market Avenue. And we are showcasing our students this year. So they will be performing some music and dance. And we will have a live and silent auctions. And some of that includes artwork from our students. So very excited.
Now, how are they preparing for this? Are there dance lessons? Are there what's going on?
I teach our 1st, 2nd, and 3rd graders dance, and then one of our other team leaders teaches our 4th and 5th grade some dance skills. And we do different genres so that they get exposed to different things. This year, when I started my class, my students looked at me and goes, "Is this that ballet stuff?" And for the record, if there's any non-ballet fans listening, no, it's not ballet, but we are using palms for our little kids to get them a different experience. Our older students, I believe, are doing hip-hop this year. So basically, they're teaching us dance is what it happens in that circumstance.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, yes, they're preparing every week, at least once a week, with 45-minute lessons. So,
Will there be times throughout the evening that they perform? Are there? Do you want to be there the whole night, or is this a come and go thing? And how do you get to see all of the artwork and all of the things that they're going to be sharing?
Okay. Well, it will be an all-night event, including dinner, a sit-down dinner. So we'll have that, and then the main performance will happen with the kids. So there will be dancing. Our older kids are doing bucket drumming. So our junior high, we have a volunteer that has come in, and he's teaching them that. And then we have
Alex Simon or anybody like that.
we had him once, but no.
yeah.
Okay.
Just another area volunteer. And then we have another gentleman that comes in and is doing some singing with them. And so that will be happening. And then the artwork, the kids will come out and we will showcase the artwork, and that'll be at a separate time. But it'll be up throughout the night for everyone to see.
What happens to the 8th graders when they become 9th graders? Is Tikva going to grow as they grow and keep adding services for the children as they get into the next stages and progress?
Well, currently, we aren't doing that right now, but it is something that I'm very interested in doing. And if we don't provide it, maybe looking at other organizations in the community to partnership with and to send them that way.
If I'm right, when you go to Southeast Canton, you have the Martin Center that serves children
Yes.
in the high school years. And then, is it the Monroe Center that's on the northeast side?
I think so. Yeah, we're less familiar with that one, but the Martin Center we've partnered with in the past. They're pretty great.
Well, I wondered if there was some kind of a partnership because there's so many people who realize something's got to be done for our neighborhoods in after school.
Right.
Right now, actually, several of our volunteers and one of our staff members has been involved with the Martin Center. So it's neat that we can share resources like that. And some of our high schoolers do come back to volunteer and help out, which is neat if they have the opportunity. We have one student who has come back to help with homework a couple times a week with some of our younger students. And through that opportunity, she's now going to shadow a doctor because she wants to become a doctor. And because she happened to be around and we had this person offer his services, we said, "Oh, Samaria, why don't you get involved with this man?" And so it's kind of neat how that works out that way.
It's so tremendous just to be able to get certain life goals on kids' radar and to realize, oh, this is achievable. This is something I really can do. I just need to learn from this person what are the steps to take and then buckle down and study hard and apply myself, and it's doable.
Yeah. And that's why our theme is hope. We want hope's not just something elusive that you have to kind of grasp in the dark at. We want to make it more concrete for them. Have
you seen improvement in grades as the children have been having hope with their homework and so forth? Any results yet that you can talk about?
Well, I know we just did a academic field trip. They have to have A's, B's, C's, and good behavior in order to go on that. And we had budgeted for like 15 and we ended up sending 30. So that was a good problem to have. Yeah, we have 2 vans, and so we needed to do some carpooling because we didn't have enough seats. So that was a good problem. So.
What about the relationship with the families that you're serving? Because you're getting to know their children. There's moms and dads and grandparents. What's their relationship with Tikva?
Last year, as a team leader, it was really exciting for me. I got to see that area of our program grow, or at least maybe just experience it for the first time firsthand. One of my students, who I was ironically trying to help with fractions, going back to not knowing how to help with homework, but we ended up having to learn that together. We looked it up online, how to do that program. But her mother found out that I was expecting my first child, and she herself has 4 young girls, and she was so excited about that whole thing happening that she pulled her friends and family together, and they got gently used clothing, and they gave me 3 huge crates full of gently used clothing. An incredible family, and it just goes to show that, we as an organization are there to serve our community, but they're also here to grow and serve us. And it's just a really neat relationship that we're developing with our students and their families. And that's something we really want to see more of. Not our families necessarily giving us stuff, but just the ability to have that kind of a relationship. She celebrated with me in that moment, and I could celebrate with her for other things.
There is a blessing in being able to be on the giving side when you are accustomed to being on the receiving side. And I'm sure that was just such a blessing for her as well. And for you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. My daughter is still wearing some of those outfits. So.
She's well clothed.
She is now well clothed, yes.
So I love hearing the stories of what Tikva is doing for young people. Tell me about, first of all, let's talk about the people who are volunteering and giving of their time to spend with these young people. Tell me about who they are.
Oh, man. We have the best volunteers in the world. We wouldn't be able to function without our volunteers. They are varying in ages, varying in backgrounds, an incredible group of people. We work with Malone and Walsh. We get students from both of those campuses, which is exciting for our kids. They get to hear about college. And we also get some folks from area churches. Like Leslie had mentioned River Tree. We have had many folks come in through that area. We've had many come in through other churches, and they just love to interact with our kids. And more importantly, our kids love to interact with them. There's not a day that goes by where I don't see a kid holding a hand or climbing onto or, trying to get more of that attention. And it's so important for our kids to get that attention. An adult pouring positive into them is invaluable. And so we have a huge, awesome group of volunteers.
Leslie, are you starting to get to know them? What sticks out as impressive to you?
I'm trying, yes. And it was last week, I think, when a group of Walsh kids came in, and I thought, oh man, how am I going to ever learn all their names, But it's so awesome to see all of them. And so that's what I've been trying to do, get to know the teachers, our lead teachers, and then also these volunteers, and pour them to them and thank them for, spending the time with our kids. They love it.
You're working with how many different schools now?
Schools for students, you mean?
Yes.
I think 13. Last I checked, it was 13.
Wow. I don't mean to put you on the spot. What schools are you serving?
I know for sure Allen, Belden, Gibbs, McGregor,
and that's
maybe?
Okay. It's not a fair question at all.
Clarendon, Cedar, Timken, ECA, I think Hartford. Anyway, I can't remember all of our middle schools.
Yeah, awesome to be able to be serving that group of Canton City schools. And tell me about the partnership then with the schools. I'm sure you've got some kind of collaboration with the classrooms and the classroom teachers.
Right. Well, the schools actually refer them to us. So that comes in saying that, we're recommended. The buses drop them off to us, which is also helpful. And then we also have some of our teachers and our site director actually go into the schools and make those relationships.
It's so good. You mentioned field trips a second ago, and we will get to those. Just looked at the time. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll find out more about field trips and about Tikva Hands of Hope after these words. You're listening to Our Community.